Hey everyone, this is Shaldars. I've been playing FK Arena for a little over a year with multiple accounts. Unlike most streamers and such out there, my accounts are mostly free to play. I've spent a little here and there, but around or less than $25 per account. Another thing different about me is I like to break the meta. I'm more of a casual player, I like to do my own thing, have fun with the game, and I like to try to build stuff that counters the meta, particularly in PvP. In the near future, I'll actually do a video where I go into the meta builds and what's going on with that. But you'll notice when you watch my videos that you'll find my account use my own builds and strategies. You'll pick up little tips and tricks about different things while watching my videos, and occasionally you'll get to see how I manage running multiple accounts at once. Today I'm going to introduce you to my main account and give you a rundown on my current build and my future plans. So this is my main build right here. I've been using a lot of these heroes for a long time. Shemira has been my main carry pretty much the whole time I've been leveling. So let's go and start with her. Take a look. So her ultimate deals a lot of AoE damage to the entire battlefield, just nukes everybody down at once. Once she gets higher, she can even restore her own health by dealing damage with this. Her Soul Siphon tethers to an enemy and steals health from them. Her silences an enemy and keeps them from casting spells. And then her last ability deals more damage the more health she has. And it gives her more crit rating too. So she's really high health and damage champion. She's got some good stamina. Once you get her up above 180 and Mythic, you can actually put her in the front line, and she'll do very well dealing damage and healing herself. Although once you get to endgame, she starts getting a little squishier. In fact, I've been experimenting with replacing her because she gets pretty squishy, and we'll go into that a little bit later. Also, her signature item here, you unlock these once they get to Mythic or higher. When there's less enemies on the battlefield, her ult will deal more damage. I capped mine at plus 20 because I was planning on replacing her at endgame for a long time. Normally I use Blade on her, although Drape is really good on her, and Call can be useful on her too. Alright, next, let's go over to Nemora. Now, Nemora is a great healer. Her ult heals your entire team and increases their defense and regenerates their health. Her Beguile charms an enemy target and makes them deal damage to their own team. This increases her healing percentage and makes it so that if she overheals somebody, so if she heals more than their health can take, 50% of that will give them a shield. Her Life Force, it basically casts a regen on the weakest ally. She can be very good at healing, and her charm is great. And we'll have to go back and do Shemira's furniture too. I forgot about that. Furniture is still relatively new. Alright, so her signature item, when she deals damage with her normal attack, she heals allies with it. And her healing gets even higher if she gets a crit. So because of this, I like to use Eye on her, because it increases her haste whenever she gets a crit. So this can be really good because it can cause her to attack more often and crit more, and then her heals on her basic attack just get better and better. Alright, now let's go take a look at her furniture. Alright, so the first bonus that she gets from her furniture, when her health falls below 60% for the first time, she uses her Life Force ability on herself. Now, if we go back and look at it, that's the regen one. So whenever she starts getting low, she regens her own health. That's pretty good. But I'm really excited for her 9-piece right here. First time an enemy gets too close, she activates Beguile against all nearby enemies. Her Beguile is her charm. So this will be great against Nara and Aaron, Just let them pull her into the team and she'll charm half the enemy team. Can't wait till I get that. It's going to be great. Alright, so go back to Shemira. I don't have any pieces of her furniture, but when her energy is full, she becomes immune to CC and uses her ult. And she can use this while she's channeling her Soul Siphon or doing something else, too. And then, her 9 piece, when she gets below half health, she gets increased healing from her ult for the rest of that ult. It's okay. I'm probably not going to go for it because, as I've said, I'm going to be replacing her. Alright, next we got Nara. Nara is a great assassin. She counters half the heroes in this game. She's maybe not quite as effective in all circumstances as Thalia, but she's much easier to build, and she has her own skill set. There are certain heroes that she does well with better. For instance, Fox. She can CC him a little bit better than Thalia can. Try to keep his coffin from going off. Anyways, let's go right into it. Her ult deals massive amounts of damage to a target if their health is below 40%. So this is used to execute enemies, and if you have it on auto battle, she'll use this once their health hits 40% instead of as soon as it's available. When she gets at level, she kills the target. She can get energy. She gets a shield. It's pretty good. So it can go off a few times a battle pretty reliably. Just remember, this is her stomp. She knocks them down to the ground and stomps them a few times. It's pretty hard CC. Lasts for a good amount of time. Impale. She grabs an enemy, pulls them back over to her. So, at the beginning of the battle, you set her down, she'll grab whoever's across from her, pull them in, and knock them to the ground and start beating on them. Really useful against squishy heroes or heroes that you need to CC. Terrify. Passive ability that causes her attackers to lose energy when they deal damage to her. Pretty good. Keeps them from ulting while she's dueling somebody. Alright, before we go look at that, let's look at her sig. Got this one to plus 30. This was my first plus 30. Okay, the base on this is really, really good. Whenever anybody's injured enough for her to take him out, or to be taken out with her ability, she'll grab them and immediately use her ult on them. Her plus 10 and plus 20 gives her life leech based with her ult. And then her plus 30, the extra damage on her ult can be triggered when Nara's health gets below 50%. So if she's struggling to take out an enemy, can't get their health below 50%, or below 40%, and then she gets hit a little too much, then this lets her use her ult again to chunk at him and heal some of her health back with the life leech. Now, when she uses her ult this way, she doesn't get the energy regen if she doesn't kill her target, and she doesn't get her shield. So it can cause problems, but a lot of times the life leech can help her to keep going. But if we look at her furniture, it's actually going to make this a whole lot better. Okay, so her 3-piece. All enemies become terrified for 2 seconds whenever she gets a kill with her ult. So that's pretty strong. Enemies get feared and run away for 2 seconds. Now her 9-piece, it makes her ult even stronger if she gets the damage buff. So with this, her using her ult after 50% is going to increase her likelihood of killing her target by a lot. And if she can kill her target off of her own 50% health, even if the target's 60-70% health, if it's a squishy target, well, that can do a lot. Give her a lot of health, maybe heal her back up to full, almost. Give her a shield, energy. Pretty good. I'm pretty excited to get that. Alright, I often... Nara can use a lot of different artifacts. Pretty much the only thing that's bad on her is Conviction, because, well, she pulls everybody close to her, so she won't get the damage buff from it. Grace can be good. Normally I've been using this lately because I've switched around some things, but normally I've used either Blade, Eye, or Chalice on her. But I put Eye on Lyca to try to get, or I put Eye on Nemora for that healing, and she used to have Chalice on her, but I put Chalice on Lyca to try to help keep her alive a little better. Alright, so, speaking of Lyca, let's go take a look. Her ult, it deals damage to, well, you can put her in top, middle, or bottom lane, and she'll shoot her ult across the whole screen. But if she's up on the top or up on the bottom, it'll only get the top half or the bottom half of the screen. Put her in the middle, it hit everybody. And it knocks them back. Her rapid arrows. Shoots off 3 arrows in quick succession, dealing a bunch of damage to the target, and as you level it up, she gets life leech on some of that. Her awe, she bounds onto the battlefield, so she kind of hops in, and it keeps her either a little bit behind or a little bit forward from where she would be, and it increases your haste for the entire team and gives them some energy. So it can really help make things go quick at the beginning of the battle, and your heroes can interrupt enemy first abilities, things like that. And Foe's Fragility. This is a cool ability. Whenever she damages anybody for 5 seconds, their defense is decreased and they're easier to crit. This can be really, really helpful for all damage heroes on the team. She's kind of somewhere in between a damage and a support. At lower ascension, she's almost only used for her haste buff. But as she gets higher and she can defend herself a little bit more, she can deal some damage and get some buffs too. Oops. That's not what I was meaning to click on. Alright, now let's go to her signature item. This is pretty cool. Increases allies' accuracy. Now her plus 20. That's really good. Raises damage for every point of accuracy that an ally has, which exceeds the dodge rating of their target. So if you got higher dodge, or higher accuracy than their dodge, you get more damage, up to 20%. Now, intelligence-based allies don't get this, which is another reason I'm thinking about switching out Shemira, so I can get some more physical damage champions in to utilize this. As I said, I got Vitality on her, just to make it so she lives a little bit easier, a little bit better. Now, her furniture is pretty strong. 2 heroes get hit with rapid fire the first time it's used. It's only the first time, but it's still decently effective. Now, her 9-piece, her normal attacks hit 2 targets every time. That is very, very, very strong. So she's going to deal a whole lot more damage once I get her furniture all set up. Alright, now, over to Seirus. I originally put Seirus on this team, just kind of because I needed a tank, but he actually goes pretty good with Lyca. I thought he was maybe not going to go so well with Nara at first, but if she's got somebody down in her stomp, they'll kind of stay there. And if she's got somebody outside of her stomp, you can knock them away from her, and then that can give her a second to recoup and her cooldowns to go down, like her stomp, and then she can just grab them and pull them back. And then she can stomp them again pretty soon. Oh, but I guess we should actually go into this so you can see it. So his ult sends a bunch of waves towards the enemies and knocks them towards the edge of the battlefield. Knocks them over and over again. This one knocks up 2 to 3 enemies. Sends them flying up in the screen and back down. This one, he buffs his own basic attack and makes it deal AoE damage. And this one, it if damage is really, really low on an enemy attack, it gets reduced by half. So he could be a pretty strong tank with some good CC. Now his signature item causes him to increase his own health, and then he can regenerate it. This can give him a lot of health. If you give it a plus 30, his health is doubled, and then he will increase over time. Because of this ability right here, I like to use Drape on him to make it go faster. Chalice would also go just fine on him too. His furniture's been rated fairly low. I think it looks fairly decent though. After an enemy has been knocked to the edge of the battlefield, he uses his Deluge ability against him. That's the knock-up. So it makes his ult kind of like a Noki's ult too. They get knocked to the edge of the battlefield and they get knocked up. Then with +9, it can be used every 4 seconds. Okay. Well, so those are all of my heroes on my team. Now, Shemira is most likely going to get replaced with Baden. I've been using him up for a while. He just barely got to Ascended. So I've just got to get his signature item up. Right now, I've given it to Ezio. But once Ezio expires, he'll get all of that. Alright, so Baden. His ult creates a phantom to help in the battle. And it has... this Baden can use some of his abilities. So you'll see in a minute. Okay. So his phantoms are actually pretty strong. And Dura's Call makes it so you can ult quickly. It's really, really strong on him. He's going to ult over and over again. As you'll see as we'll go through his kit, the more phantoms he has out, the better. Phantom Strike. This creates a phantom behind a random enemy. It's kind of a smaller phantom. It's not quite as strong.
What's up, Pandora?
These phantoms will only use basic attacks. And this Spectral Onslaught deals damage 3 times to enemies around him. And his ult phantoms can use this ability too. Once you start leveling it, when him or his phantoms deal damage to an enemy, it increases his damage and stacks up to 5 times. Spectral Surge. Bane's attack rating is increased by 3% for every phantom on the battlefield, and he mitigates 20% damage. Very strong. And his attack rating increase of all phantoms can be increased by up to 5%. So, as you can see, yeah, the more phantoms he gets out, less damage he takes, and the more damage he deals. So Call is very, very strong on him. His phantoms don't do a whole lot of damage by themselves. If you can get them to stack up, then they can deal massive, massive amounts. So Blade is good on them too, because they'll get more damage over time. And then it doesn't matter how many phantoms you have out. But I think Call is superior because it gives attack rating and damage reduction. Let's look at his signature item. Each time a total of 4 phantoms disappear from the battlefield, he'll initiate his Phantom Strike, which is where he summons another phantom. So when 4 phantoms die, guess what? He gets another one. And then you can increase his health. And then this one makes his Phantom Strike proc after 3 phantoms die. Now, let's take a look at his furniture. I think his furniture is one of the strongest, if not the strongest in the game. When one of his phantoms disappears, the remaining phantoms get 45% of their missing health. They're going to get almost half of the health that they've already lost whenever his phantoms die. And, if you got his sig up, every 3 phantoms, you get another phantom too. Okay, his 9-piece. Whenever one of his phantoms dies, Baden consumes one of the phantoms that has a higher health than him and transfers 60% of the phantom's remaining health to himself. He can be used up to 6 times per battle. I think once you get his +9, he'll be pretty much invulnerable. As it is, on one of my other camps that I'm running him, he seems to be the last one alive pretty much every single fight. So he'll also go very, very well with Lyca. Deal extra damage there. So I'm really excited to get him up there. Now, I was going to go over some of my other comps here that I'm going to be looking into in the future. But I've kind of run out of time for this video, so I will be doing another one later, and I'll go through the rest of that. Thanks for watching, guys, and you have a great night.